Consequence Podcast Network.
Welcome to another edition of Kyle Meredith With, an audio interview series presented by WFPK Independent Louisville, Consequence of Sound, and the Consequence Podcast Network. Wherever you're listening from today, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. If you can leave a rating and a review, go ahead and do that as well. I'm Kyle Meredith. Today my guest is Lita Ford, legendary of the Runaways and a huge solo career throughout the 80s and 90s. And today, she's part of a new television show on AXS called The Top 10 Revealed, an all-star cast on there covering subjects like sex, the greatest guitar riffs, the greatest collaborations. We'll talk about how she filters into all of that and her own songs that fit those descriptions. There's also discussion of her influence and opening the door for more women artists in the industry, and of course the possibility on if she'll be playing with any of the Runaways in the future. It's Kyle Meredith with Lita Ford.
Hi, Kyle.
It's great to be talking to you. Quite an honor.
How are you doing? Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, so I know you got the TV thing going on. We can start there. AXS, you're part of this season of the Top 10, and some cool subjects you guys are talking about, right?
Oh, very cool. Yeah, it's a great show. Katie Darrell's the host, and she's awesome. She says, "Oh, this series is much more racier than I thought." And we go into talking about sex. It's just awesome.
Yeah.
All the guitar riffs from all these great songs, all the memories that people have from all these great songs, and these songs still hold up today. They weren't, because they were written in the 80s or the 70s or whatever, wherever they came from, it doesn't matter because they're still holding up today. You still hear them on the radio all the time, or people have covered them, and there's different versions of the same songs that are out. So it's a really great show, and there's a lot of people on the show.
Looking at some of these, I know one of the first things as you're talking about, you're going to be looking at the top 10 songs about sex. Of course, I feel like maybe you have one of those. It's an easy to point to Hungry, your song Hungry, which is Hungry for You. Does that make the top 10? Are you allowed to throw your own in on this?
We do every once in a while, but I don't think Hungry's one of them, although it should be. I think it's more about other people when we talk about sex, but I do talk about sex on there because sex sells, It really does. It doesn't matter if you're in rock and roll or if you're just doing a commercial for a pack of cigarettes. It just seems like everything is around, a hot, sexy girl or some hot-looking guy, and he's having a cigarette or whatever, playing a song or playing guitar. So sex sells.
Of course, it's easy. We can look back at the 80s for some of these songs, and they were very much in the time. I get the feeling like some of those might not fly as easily today. Like that was definitely like you could get away with something then that maybe you couldn't now.
Actually, I feel like it's the other way around because when I released Hungry for Your Sex, nobody would play it because of the lyrical content of the song. I'm so hungry for your sex. I want to taste your sweet thing. I want to feel the sting of your sex. I mean, come on, that's great lyrics. And they wouldn't play it. They wouldn't play it, but then you get bands like Two Live Crew that come out and they sing about all this nasty, nasty stuff. But I think the fact that they were guys and the fact that I was a female, I got pushed back, and they didn't. And I thought, well, how come they can do it and I can't? So I just kept pushing and plodding through. And even in 1988, when I released Kiss Me Deadly, and it said, I went to a party last Saturday night, I didn't get laid. I got in a fight. A lot of the radio stations made me change laid.
Really?
To I didn't get paid, I didn't get made. So I had all these alternate versions of Kiss Me Deadly.
Wow.
Now, nobody cares. So they all play the I didn't get laid version.
I mean, representation's important, as we're talking about that. You just having, an awesome female artist, even in the public eye, and it was few and far between then, and you see that much more now. I mean, we have these amazing artists who are seemingly having a much easier time, and I feel like that's because of you. That's because of you and a handful of others that were out there and showing that to hell with this, gender barriers or whatever. It was really a double standard that everybody was holding back then, and that had to be so frustrating.
It was frustrating. It was frustrating in the Runaways. It was frustrating for me as a solo artist because I had to fight so many battles. But I never gave up, and I never took no for an answer, and I just kept plodding through. You know, as Lizzie Hale says, you kicked down the door, you carved the path, you know, and she hails me on stage. It's so cool. It's so cool to see her. It's so cool to see her out kicking butt now, you know, because Joan Jett and I basically laid the foundation, and Hart, you know, we laid the foundation for these other females that are out there right now kicking butt, which is so great to see. Recently, I was nominated by Marshall Amplifications and Guitar Player Magazine. They gave me the Icon Award, which was just amazing. And I got one, and Jim Marshall got one. So, and he passed away, but they still gave him the Icon Award. And I thought, wow, I am officially an icon because of the way that I had carved a path for other women in rock and roll. And then once they presented me with the award, I got on stage and I jammed with 11 different female guitar players. So I went from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Right. It's fantastic. And
It's like, wow, you guys, where'd you guys all come from?
You did mention, you know, I want to bring it up, you know, some of the other members of the Runaways. You reunited with Cherie for a Christmas single back in 2013. Will there be more opportunities, do you see, for those moments to happen?
Well, I don't think Joan and I will ever work together, but I know Cherie and I might. And Vicki Blue actually did the Mother video for me in 2013. I think it was 2013. We just came off the Def Leppard Poison tour. I want to say it was 2013. She snatched me right up, and she said, "You look great. Let's do Mother." So we went out to the Joshua Tree Desert, and Vicki's really into film and doing all that kind of stuff. She's got all these connections with all these great camera people and cameramen. So she bought them all in, and we did this great video. But it just feels like you're with family when you do stuff like that, you know, because Vicki was part of the Runaways, and after Jackie left, and then Cherie, I just wanted to take Cherie and do something with her, and she was in a little bit of a, I don't want to wear that, and I don't want to wear all that makeup, and I'm thinking, Cherie, you're beautiful. Let's show it off, you know, come on. Let's show it off. Let me put some red lipstick on you, and let's show that cherry tattoo on your shoulder. So I dressed her up in Victoria's Secret's pajamas, and we both did a single together. She was in Chicago. She was in Chicago, flying back from Chicago, and I was already in the studio recording this song. I got her on the phone, and I said, "What are you doing?" And she says, "I'm just flying home from Chicago." So I said, "Well, when you land, come straight to the studio because I have a vocal part for you." So she walks in the studio, and I showed her the vocal part, and she sang it on the spot. It turned out great. We had a blast.
Well, I'll look forward to the new music when it comes out next too, and of course this AXS television show with the top 10. I can't wait to hear what you all have in store. Thank you so much, Lita.
Oh, awesome! Thank you.
All right, take care. Bye.
You too. Bye.
And my thanks to Lita Ford for that call. She's part of the new AXS television show, The Top 10 Revealed. Do check that out. We'll be looking forward to new music as well. YouTubers, subscribe right now to Consequence of Sound's page. Keep up with your favorite artists and interviews. For you podcast fans, if you're listening from iTunes, Podchaser, or wherever you're getting it from, hit the subscribe button and then leave a rating and a review as well. Then you can head over to WFPK.org. That's where I do a show every Monday through Thursday from noon to 3 Eastern, where you can also find bonus episodes of this series as well. I'm Kyle Meredith. I'll see you next time.
Consequence Podcast Network.